This is the first, but not the last time I put shrimp in sausage. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Jed with PS Seasoning. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to make a Creole Butter Brat. This is going to be a fresh sausage featuring our 782 Creole Butter Brat Seasoning. This sausage seasoning comes from our butter line, which also includes Cowboy Butter Brat and Honey Butter Brat. This seasoning features garlic, onion, little red pepper for heat, thyme, and of course, butter. For this version of our Creole Butter Brat, we wanted to do something a little different. So we're making a fresh sausage with a pork base, but we're also adding some diced shrimp for texture and a little boosted flavor. We thought adding shrimp to this recipe would give us a nice Southern Creole vibe. This is how it turned out, but let me back up a little bit and show you how we got here. These fresh sausage are going to utilize a 32 to 35 millimeter natural hog casing. And the first thing we need to do is rinse them and get them soaking. And this is going to help make the casings a little more pliable and easy to work with. The casings are often packed in salt as well, so we want to rinse all of that off. These need to soak for at least 45 minutes before they'll be ready to use. Next, we'll get started cutting up our meat and getting ready to grind. For this sausage, we're going to be using pork butts. This cut of meat is regularly available at any grocer and is super easy to work with. It has a great protein to fat ratio, which lends itself well to sausage. We bought our pork butts bone in, so let's remove the bone and then cut up our meat into grinder-sized pieces, about 3-inch cubes. Next, our secret ingredient, shrimp. We're going to cut our shrimp into a medium dice and set aside. Let's get our grinder set up. For our first grind, we're going to be using a 3/8 inch plate, or a 10 millimeter. We'll grind once through here, and then reset our grinder with a 3/16 or a 4.5 millimeter plate. After our second grind, we'll break down the grinder and get ready to mix. Our batch is going to be a 12.5 pound batch, about 10 3/4 pounds of pork and 1 3/4 pounds of shrimp. That's going to give us a ratio of about 15% shrimp to 85% pork. The Creole Butter Brat Seasoning is designed for 25 pounds. When you purchase our Creole Butter Brat Seasoning, it's going to come designed for a 25 pound meat block. We're doing half that at 12.5 pounds, so we need about half the seasoning. Be sure to weigh out accurately because the ratios of seasoning are specifically designed. Now we're going to combine all our ingredients: our pork, shrimp, water, and seasoning. Adding water to our meat is going to add a little bit of moisture, and it's also going to help distribute the seasoning evenly throughout the meat block. Generally, I add about 1 ounce of water for every pound of meat. So in this case, we'll use 12.5 ounces of water. Glove up and start mixing your meat. Folding over and kneading will help distribute the seasoning and start your protein extraction. Once the meat looks evenly mixed and becomes tacky, we're ready to stuff. Get your stuffer set up and start loading your hopper. When filling your hopper, press the meat down to avoid air pockets. Now we're going to thread on our casings and get to stuffing. Find one end of a casing and open, dip into the water, pulling water through for a final rinse. This will also help lubricate the casing to help thread onto the horn easily. Next, stuff the sausage. As you crank, keep a little pressure with your left hand on the horn to ensure an even stuffing throughout the casing. Break down your stuffer and let's link up. Measure off a section about 7 or 8 inches, pinch on each side, twisting away from you to form a link. Repeat this process every other 7 or 8 inches until all sausage is linked. Once you're all linked up, use your sausage pricker to eliminate any air pockets. Set your sausage on a rack-lined tray and into the fridge for at least 4 hours before cooking. Once you're ready, unlink your sausages and cook up to your liking. For final presentation, get creative. You could do ranch, a little remoulade, other vegetable toppings, but what I did is I did some grilled onions to add an extra pop of sweetness. Before I dive into those, I have to try the brat by itself. Oh yeah, and look at that. All right, let's try. That is very, very tasty. So one of the first things I get is kind of those herbal notes, paired with the butter to make a nice savory sausage. And then there's a low-level heat that comes through, paired with the shrimp. It gives it a nice buttery sweetness, pairs really well. Overall, I think this sausage turned out great. I really like the buttery sweetness that the shrimp gives, and the overall flavor profile of the Creole Butter Brat really hits the mark. The Creole Butter Brat seasoning would make a great chicken sausage as well, and there are other inclusions you can play with too. You could do high temp cheese, but if you did, I would suggest something mild like a mozzarella. If you like this recipe and want to purchase the 782 Creole Butter Brat Seasoning for yourself, head to psseasoning.com. If you want more content like this, please click subscribe, and you can check us out on all forms of social media. Until next time, I'm Chef Jed. Thanks for watching.